Yeah, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Today I represent a use case that we commonly done together with ZF. And it's about like AI-driven analysis of laws and regulations for ADAS and AD systems. It's with a special unit of ZF. Today I'm sadly alone since some of the ZF guys couldn't join. That's the reason why you just need to spend your time with me, but I hope that you will enjoy it. Like the problem what they had is when they develop AV or AD systems or ADAS systems, there's a massive load on regulations out there. And this is worldwide. Yeah? It's not just Europe. It's regulated all around the world, in China, in USA, in the main markets. And it's not just regulations. It's also norms, standards, applicable documents that you need to consider when you develop these systems. So for engineers and regulatory officers, it's quite hard to identify all of that regulations. And as soon as they are identified, they are also changing a lot. So they have really a hard time to keep up with all the regulations and the requirements that needs to be fulfilled to deploy such a vehicle and at the end also to certify such a vehicle. And as mentioned, for the ZF guys and the engineers, it's also really time consuming because you need to crunch through hundreds of documents to identify requirements, identify the test case, get everything out in your engineering toolscape, and it's just purely manual effort that takes a lot of time, which is risky. What we did together is, before we actually joined, ZF started to do that in Excel files. And all these documents were translated in Excel documents and they were managed in Excel. So that is a hard pain. I did it by myself, by the way. I was a legal and product compliance guy at Mercedes-Benz, responsible for the level 3 function that is now available on the market. We did it also with Excel, so that's not uncommon, but it's actually not the way to go for such highly complex and highly regulated systems. And that's the reason why we introduced our system at ZF. It's an operating system for technical compliance. So what we do is we take all that regulations worldwide. So we are scraping the web, we are screening the web for all regulations, norms, and standards. We are classifying them, and then we are digitizing them in a really intelligent way with a graph data structure underneath. That actually enables us to really dedicate and find out specific regulations for specific parts of the vehicle. In this case, we just did it for ADAS and autonomous systems, but in general, we do this for the whole vehicle. So all our other clients are working with the whole vehicle, let's so to say. The cool thing is, once this is digitized in a way, we can extract already the requirements. So we go through these documents with AI, we analyze them, we find all the requirements inside of this document, we find all the test cases inside of these documents, and we make them available to the engineers in a really short glimpse of time. We group them together, we classify them, and on our platform, we have also compliance workflows that actually enables engineers to streamline requirements from documents into their requirements management tools. So we integrate basically all the data, all the information directly where engineers need it in the requirements management tools. For instance, in our case, it was DOORS DNG. But how does it work? So that's something new. We identified basically on the global regulatory landscape, we identified all that regulations and we classified that for ADAS system, and you could already see that we found out a lot of stuff in UNECE, in EU, in China, in the US, and the system automatically classifies that. So you have a really nice overview about that. In the next stage, after we classified that and made that available in that super easy, simple way, the system takes care about all the updates. So if there are changes, you will be notified on the project level what has changed. In the next step, actually, we go inside of the regulation and identify then what is a requirement, what is a heading. So we really decompose and go into the text and identify all the relevant stuff for the engineers to fulfill their requirements in order to meet also this regulation at the end. And in the next step, actually, we go inside of this traceability. So we copy and like used APIs to the system to transport all that information inside of the relevant engineering tooling. At the end, basically, if something changes, and that's basically also like part of that game, so roughly you can imagine that 30% of the regulations like for vehicles change a year. So this is a constant loop that engineers need to stay abreast of to really identify that changes and apply it to the product that they are developing. So our system automatically does that. So we identify the changes, we highlight the changes inside of the project, and just these elements that are changed will get touched. So with the next export actually to DNG, we are also just highlighting that elements that has changed. And that actually enables a nice traceability from the regulatory perspective to the engineering tool to your product. And this is basically like what we did with ZF in a project. Now they are also like running that our system on a production basis. So the project was really successful. According to their feedback, we saved like 75% of the time of the engineers to analyze, to get into touch, to find out these requirements, and over time also when dealing with updates. So it was quite a nice, successful POC. And that's it. We have a booth here. It's in the other room. So I would be happy to welcome you to our booth and show you our system if you are interested. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for the audience, and then see you soon.